My name is Émilie Trahan, and this is a story about my quilt, Blooming. I started this quilt in January 2019 while I was 8 months pregnant with my first child. To take my mind off all of the baby preparation, I started to experiment with improvisational quilting, and all the fabrics that I used in this quilt are upcycled. I started with this little section here, playing with curve piecing, and then it grew around it like some sort of a flower. And one of my favorite things to do when selecting colors is to play with value. I wanted to feel like an explosion of light and color and life. And as the quilt grew, well, so did I. And by the end of the piecing, I was at my due date. I then decided to baste the quilt in the hope of triggering my labor. I proceeded to pin baste the quilt on the floor on all fours for an afternoon. I went into labor a couple hours after and welcomed my baby girl the next morning. The quilting process was a bit more challenging with a newborn. I remember quilting parts of it with my baby girl on a baby carrier. The quilting was made on a domestic machine with free motion quilting, and in my opinion was overly detailed and time consuming. But by the end of it, I realized I had made a quilt about my journey into motherhood. QuiltCon Together 2021 was my first time submitting a quilt for QuiltCon, so I was overjoyed even to be included in the show. When I got notice that I had won a prize, I was in disbelief. And when they announced to me via Zoom call that I had won Best in Show, it was total shock. And to make this even more considerable, I was then 9 months pregnant with my second baby girl and welcomed her a couple of days after. I had just came back from the hospital when QuiltCon Together kicked off. Even though I am very proud of this quilt and this prize, I think I appreciate even more the full circle moment of having this quilt linked to the arrival into this world of both my daughters. And so I will cherish it for a very long time. Thank you for listening to my story, and happy quilting.